AA, St. Josephine Bakita Masinga Girls High School. BB, Luluku Secondary School. CC, AIC, Tulomboi Secondary School. DD, Tumani Secondary School. EE, Lamu Boys Secondary School. FF, St. Bonaventure Kaherti Boys High School. GG, Kimani Girls High School. HH, St. Malivani Secondary School. II, Dr. Kraft Memorial Secondary School. JJ, St. Bakita Bahati Girls Secondary School. KK, St. Anne Gudunguri Girls Secondary School. IILL Kimuri Secondary School, and MM Mayela Township Secondary School. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I lay.
Honorable members, I would like to have your indulgence to reorder the order paper. So we'll now move to motion number 8 and 9. Then we will come back to 7, questions and statements, then back to 6. Then after that, we can resume our order paper. So let's. Have we finished laying of papers? We will come back to you. We'll come back to you. Allow us to do the procedural motions, the 2, 8, and 9. Then we go to the statement of the Leader of Majority, and then we come back to you. There's a reason. Okay? Read the order out.
Order number 8, procedural motion, extension of period for consideration of the 2025 budget policy statement.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move following procedural motion. That notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order number 232.7 relating to timelines for consideration of budget policy, this House resolves to extend 2025 budget policy by a period of 14 from 27th February 2025. Honorable Speaker, the budget making process is one of the key critical roles of this House, and it really requires that they have a complete active participation. Speaker, this procedural motion, therefore, Honorable Speaker, seeks to extend statutory timelines for budget policy by at least 14 days, in particular 14 days, Honorable Speaker. And this extension is necessitated by the fact that the committee of election is yet to finalize the nomination of members to various committees. Actually, the committee that is mandated to do that work, and its timeline has lapsed, Speaker. And it is for that reason that this very motion is being moved, so that this committee is constituted. As you're all aware, that the timeline lapsed. Those select committees and the budget appropriation and appropriation committee.
Self-explanatory, thank you.
Exactly. So I therefore move this, Honorable Speaker, and I beg Honorable Pogo to second.
Thank you, and wish to second.
Thank you. Honorable members, I now propose the question that notwithstanding the provision of Standing Order 7 relating to the timelines for budget policy, the House resolves to extend the consideration of the 2025 budget policies by a period of 14 days from 27th February. Thank you, Honorable members. I now put the question that notwithstanding the provision of 2 relating to the timelines of the budget policy statement, the House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the 2025 budget policy statement by a period of 14 days from 27th February 2025. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, procedural motion, extension of period for consideration of the 2025 debt management strategy.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following procedural motion that notwithstanding the provision of Standing Order number 4 relating to timelines for consideration strategy, this House resolves to extend the period for 5 debt management strategy by a period of 10 days from 24th February 2020. The facts, Honorable Speaker, are similar to what we said. Procedural motion, considering that the 2025 medium-term debt management strategy is expected to table its report to the House. It's very important that we extend, similar to what we said in the procedural motion, budget and appropriation, budget policy statement. I beg to move on this, and I urge the Honorable Adams to second.
Speaker, I second.
Honorable members, I now propose the question that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 2A4 relating to timelines for consideration of the debt management strategy, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the 2025 debt management strategy by a period of 10 days from the 24th of February 2020. Thank you, honorable members. I now put the question that notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order 2A4 relating to the timelines for consideration of the debt management strategy, the House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the 5 debt management strategy by a period of 10 days from 24th February 2020. As many as of that opinion say aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? Have it. Next, we shall go back to order number 7. Order number 5, sorry, for papers. Was
Order number 5, papers.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Thursday, 20th February 2025. Report of the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security on 1. Its consideration of the Birth and Death Registration Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 37 of 2024. 2. Participation in the ID4 Africa Annual General Meeting, AGM, held in Cape Town, South Africa, from the 21st to 24th May 2024. I lay.
paper.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Thursday, 20th February 2025. Report of the Departmental Committee on Transport and Infrastructure and on its consideration of public petition number 14 of 2024 regarding legal recognition and protection of e-hailing, motorcycle riders, and delivery personnel.
Can go back to order. Honorable members, we can go back to order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Honorable Atandi, is it?
If they don't give us, we complain we don't have. We are given, we can't use. What are we dealing with? Let us shape up. Let us wake up.
So
Let us govern this country.
Have you substantiated?
Can you get
That
the correct?
is the opportunity
If
you
you
have
get
now
the
to do
correct
that.
record, I'm not taking an opportunity to mess up my record. Let's give us a proper record of the Hansard. I gave a URL. I've not seen you refer to the URL. You can even go to YouTube and see what I said. The URL is a universal resource locator. It's supposed to be in the Hansard record. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okio Mtata. You have used very strange language. The chair.
I've gone to school.
So I request that you really substantiate that matter.
By
Can
doing
you
what?
sit down? Can you sit down? Do you know what you sent to the chair? What you have just sent? You know the chair does not stand in vain. I stood to make a communication to the Senate. And this communication is official. Right? So now you're asking me for the chair to stand. What do you want me to do? Because that is the tradition. The chair can only make a communication or standing. I have no option of sitting on the floor when making communication. I have no option of sitting. I should stand up and make communication. Can you first of all withdraw that? Just a minute.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I think we should conduct proceedings in this House in mother tongue.
What are you saying, Senator Mtata? Yes, Senator.
I'm just saying that you are misunderstanding me.
I will throw you out of this house, you know. You have no privilege to do whatever you want, Mr. Mtata. You must respect the chair. I'm telling you, you have to. You have no option. Yes, Senator.
Honorable Speaker, with great respect, I think that we can guide each other here. On previous occasion where somebody has doubted the record read out by the standing orders require that the entire Hansard produced. Because if in the event the senator argues that in fact he did provide material, URL that he's referring to personally wasn't in the house, So perhaps, Speaker.
And you know, Senator Sifuna, I did not even come to determine what to do, but I was raising. That is what.
Very well.
Because
Very
I'm
well.
here also to safeguard respect and the dignity of the house.
Very well understood.
Even I've not even come to determine what.
Very well, Honorable Speaker. Very well understood.
And you can see it's not remorseful. I don't know. You are my friend, you know, but you are not remorseful. I've not given you that opportunity. I want to listen to Senator Enoch Wambua.
The Speaker, I think we can do well by just bringing down our chairs in there, our visitors, the Speaker. Speaker, with all due respect, just to regain the dignity of the House, I will humbly request the Speaker continue the business that is before.
Let me take some time to check on something here on the issue. I'll give guidance. Next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of this Senate, May the 20th of February, 2025. Being, Mr. Speaker, reports of the Auditor General, financial statements of Laikipia County for the year ended 30th of June, 2024. 1. County Executive of Laikipia, County Assembly of Laikipia, County Revenue Fund, revenue statements, Laikipia County Revenue, County Assembly of Laikipia Car Loan and Mortgage for Members Scheme, Laikipia County Education Bursary Fund, Laikipia County Emergency Fund, Laikipia County State and Public Officers Car Loan and Mortgage Scheme Fund, County Assembly of Laikipia Car Loan and Mortgage for Staff Scheme. 7. Laikipia County Development Authority, Laikipia County Cooperative Development Revolving Fund, Laikipia County Enterprise Fund, Laikipia County Leasing Fund, Laikipia County Business Stimulus Fund, Rumuruti Municipality, Nanyuki Municipality, Nanyuki Teaching and Referral Hospital, Dol Dol Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, Nyahururu Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Nanyuki Water and Sanitation Company Limited, Laikipia County Financing Locally Led Climate Action Program for the year ended 30th of June 2023, and Mr. Speaker, reports of the Auditor General, the financial statements of Migori County, Migori County, for the year ended 30th of June 2024. County Executive of Migori, County Assembly of Migori, County Revenue Fund, Receiver of Revenue Statements, Migori County Executive Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, Migori County Assembly Car Loan and Mortgage Fund, Migori County Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund, Municipality of Rongo, Municipality of Awendo, Migori County War Development Fund, Migori County Climate Change Fund, Migori County Referral Hospital, Oyani Sub-County Hospital, Rongo Sub-County Hospital, Awendo Sub-County Hospital, Nyamaraga Sub-County Hospital, Kegonga Sub-County Hospital, Kehanja Sub-County Hospital,
Makalda Sub-County Hospital, Muhuru Sub-County Hospital, Hispania Sub-County Hospital, Odoro Sub-County Level 4 Hospital, Uriri Sub-County Hospital, and finally, Mr. Speaker, Migori County Water and Sanitation Company Limited. Speaker, I thank you, and I do lay the papers.
Another paper in by Senator Aminda Kibwana. Would been given that assignment to do. Okay.
Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of Senator Amida Kibwana, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the Senate today, 20th February 2025. Report of the Senate delegation to the High-Level Political Forum, HLPF 2024, on sustainable development held in New York, United States of America, from 8th to 17th July 2024.
Sonda.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Motion by the chair. One can do it. Samboni Karwale. That motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for allowing me to give notice of your motion. Motion being reports of the 3rd and 4th sessions of OACPS Parliamentary Assembly and the 43rd and 1st sessions ACP Joint Parliamentary Assembly meeting held Brussels, Belgium, and Luanda, Angola, respectively. That the Senate notes the reports 1, 63rd session of the Organization of African, Caribbean, and Pacific States Parliamentary Assembly and the 43rd session African, Caribbean, and Pacific European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings that were held in Brussels, Belgium, from the 19th to the 28th, year 2023, and 2, 64th session of the Organization of African and Caribbean and Pacific States Parliamentary Assembly, and the 1st session of the African, Caribbean, and Pacific European Union Joint Parliamentary Assembly meetings were held in Luanda, Angola, the 17th, the 21st February 2024, laid table of the Senate Wednesday the 6th December 2023 and Wednesday the 2nd October 2024, respectively. Thank you, Mr.
Next, John.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice that the Senate notes the report of the 9th Parliamentary Union, IPU Global Conference of Young Parliamentarians held in Hanoi, Vietnam, from 15 to 17 September 2023, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 5th March 2024.
Next is Senator Ali Ibrahim.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. On behalf of Senator Ali Roba, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give a notice for the following motion that the Senate notes the reports of the 14th ordinary session of the plenary assembly and related meetings of the Forum of the Parliaments of the International Conference of the Great Lakes Region held in Livingstone, Zambia from 5th to 19th April 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Thursday, 30th May 2024. Thank you.
Next, Minor. Education.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. This is a notice of motion on the report of the Senate delegation to the High-Level Political Forum, HLPF 2024, on sustainable development. Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion of the following motion, that the Senate notes the report of the Senate delegation to the High-Level Political Forum, HLPF 2024, on sustainable development held in New York, United States of America, from 8th to 17th July 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 19th February 2025. On behalf of Senator Amida Kibwana, thank you, Mr.
That people. Thursday.
My apology. May it be on the record that it has been laid today, Thursday, the 20th February 2025.
Other notice. One by Senator Moses. And okay, can do both.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is thank you, Mr. Speaker. This notice of motion on the report of the parliamentary delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Interparliamentary Union parliamentary hearing held at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States of America, from 8th, 9th February 2024. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to give notice of the following motion, therefore, that the Senate notes the report of the parliamentary delegation to the 2024 Joint United Nations Interparliamentary Union parliamentary hearing held at the United Nations headquarters in New York, United States of America, from 8th to 9th February 2024, laid on the table of the Senate on Tuesday, 17th September 2024. Now, this is on behalf of Senator Veronica Maina, MP. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I beg to give notice of motion, the following motion, that the Senate notes the report of the proceedings of the Parliamentarians' Dialogue at the Africa Climate Summit 2023, held in the National Assembly Chamber, Parliament Buildings, Nairobi, on 3rd, 6th September 2023, laid on the table of the Senate on Wednesday, 2nd October 2024. This is on behalf of Senator Thank you.
Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Standing order 51, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 52-1 to make statement on a matter of county-wide concern, namely the troubling events that transpired during His Excellency the President's recent visit to Isiolo County on Thursday, 6th February 2025, the broader deterioration of governance and security in the county. Mr. Speaker, the chaos and disorder witnessed during the presidential visit were not merely spontaneous occurrences, but rather the culmination of systemic failures in security governance and administration exacerbated by deliberate action of certain county officials. These issues demand immediate national attention. Mr. Speaker, sir, first I must address the glaring security lapses that characterized the visit. The security administration demonstrated inexcusable negligence in maintaining order despite clear intelligence warnings of impending chaos. Their failures to act on available intelligence and implement proper crowd control measures raises serious questions about their competence and impartiality. The preparation for the presidential visit by the county leadership and administration was shrouded in unprecedented secrecy deliberately orchestrated to exclude legitimate stakeholders' participation. The governor of Isiolo, in a calculated move to maintain absolute control, micromanaged every aspect of the presidential schedule and programming. This turned what should have been an inclusive engagement into his political platform. Local leaders were deliberately kept in the dark about program details until the last minute. Even more disturbing was the top county security administration denials knowledge about the planned engagement, despite clear evidence of behind-the-scene coordination with the governor. The obstruction denied local leadership and community representatives their right to engage the president on pressing security and governance concerns that demand national government intervention. Mr. Speaker, sir, there is documented evidence, including a leaked video showing top county political leadership actively mobilizing individuals to cause disruptions. In Garbatula, the governor openly threatened to mobilize 5,000 people and promised that he termed brimstone fire against leaders opposing him. This threat materialized during the president's visit, where several leaders, including myself, first orchestrated heckling. Even the president himself was not spared from this organized disorder. What is particularly disturbing is the blatant selective application of justice following the event. Known individuals with documented ties to the county leadership continue to roam freely despite their clear role in orchestrating the disruptions. These individuals operate under the protection of the governor's office and remain untouchable by security agencies. Meanwhile, innocent youths, including border operators, have been arbitrarily arrested and charged with flimsy accusation of public disorder. This targeted harassment of innocent citizens, while the real perpetrators enjoy impunity, exemplifies the extent to which our local justice system has been compromised. Mr. Speaker, the county political figures who enjoy the state security protection have abused these privileges by deploying security officers to harass, intimidate, and bully Isiolo residents who oppose their leadership instead of protecting all citizens. Equally, these officers have been turned into instruments of political suppression, silencing dissenting voices through arbitrary arrest, threats, and coercion. This blatant abuse of power has created an environment of fear where citizens are hesitant to exercise their democratic rights, further deepening the governance crisis in Isiolo County. Mr. Speaker, the Isiolo County leadership has also orchestrated an artificial show of public support through a coordinated deception campaign in individuals, both elderly and youth, who are on the county payroll, are routinely paraded before the media to issue scripted press statements. This same tactic was used even during the Senate Committee Oversight visit to Isiolo. These orchestrated press conferences follow a predictable pattern where legitimate concerns about governance are raised, and these individuals deflect blame from the governor and attempt to delegitimize genuine grievances. Their purpose is not to address substantive issues, but to attack those who speak truth, power, and create a false narrative about the real situation in Isiolo. Mr. Speaker, this manipulation of public perception through financial inducements and staged endorsement is nothing short of political deception aimed at evading accountability. Beyond political intimidation, Isiolo County faces systemic security failures that endanger lives and livelihoods. Cattle rustling, a life and death issue for our pastoralist communities, has been grossly mismanaged. Security officers demand bribes from victims before conducting operations, exposing entrenched corruption in security apparatus. Even more alarming, while these security officers delay responding to cattle raids, they quickly protect Jeshi Alami, a local urban gang that terrorizes residents opposing the county leadership. This selective deployment of security resources shows the law enforcement has been compromised and is being used against the people rather than for them. Mr. Speaker, Isiolo County is also witnessing an alarming rise in drug trafficking, with narcotics being sold openly in broad daylight. This is not just a small-scale substance abuse, but an organized, well-protected operation. Credible reports are linking certain political figures to the drug trade, with suspiciously amazing wealth being used to sponsor political chaos and buy influences. Families are watching helplessly as their children fall victim to the addiction, while those mandated to protect them shielded the drug traffickers instead. This toxic alliance between drug money and political power has eroded legitimate governance and compromised public institutions. I call upon investigative agencies to conduct a thorough probe into the suspicious wealth of those political actors and their potential links to drug trade. Mr. Speaker, a particularly egregious incident occurred the weekend after the president's visit. Senate oversight staff employed by the Senate and attached to my office were arbitrarily arrested and detained under fabricated charges of mobilizing goons and creating public disturbances. The irony is undeniable. While county officials were caught on video organizing 5,000 people to cause chaos, it is oversight staff under my office who were thrown into the cells without bond. This clearly exposes the arrest for what they indeed are: deliberate efforts to obstruct Senate oversight functions and intimidate those holding the county government accountable. Mr. Speaker, sir, given the gravity of these matters, I stand before this Senate to request that you direct that the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission investigate the suspicious wealth fueling political unrest and insecurity in Isiolo County. Number two, National Authority for the Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse investigate the drug trade in Isiolo County and its links to local political network. Number three, Inspector General of Police conduct a complete overhaul of Isiolo County security apparatus, restore law and order to ensure public trust in institutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, Isiolo County is at a dangerous crossroads. An immediate intervention is imperative. We cannot allow corrupt political forces to undermine governance, security, and the rule of law. I thank you, Mr.
You have tasked me to do some work. Security overall. And I elected that the Committee on National Security and Foreign Relations change that statement so that we can see how to assist issues. Once it is constituted, don't mind, it will be a pending work. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you have answered partly, but I needed your direction, understanding on the number one, that now that the committees, the ongoing reconstitution is ongoing, can you direct that since this matter of security is an urgent but important matter, that the liaison committee handles for the time being? Because when you talk about security, in your indulgence, because you have power understanding on the number one, because the reconstitution of committees might take longer as we anticipate. I can see the person who is lobbying for a chair is not even aware of what is happening. I thank you, Mr. Chair. Professor Ojienda, Sifuna handled him properly today.
Senator Chalage, you know liaison committee of chairs of committees. You have not elected chairs in your respective committees, then there is no liaison committee. Of course, I chair liaison and we are not timid, have no members. You must give me members from the Senator.
Speaker, we are members of that. Ever direct information, we have elections to get the chair and the vice chair on Tuesday. So by the end of the day Tuesday, the committee will be in place with the leadership. So there is no reason not to commit any business.
Seem to have come with a lot of energy in that committee, so I think it will be one of the best. Yes. Okay. Is a new broom sweep screen. A new broom sweep screen. The new member of national security. Okay, Senator Nduro, I've guided accordingly. Next is okay. We have a statement under 50, standing on the 53-1.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. This is a request of a statement on clashes between the Kuria and Ma communities along the border of Migori and Narok counties. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Order 3.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding the persistent clashes between the Kuria and Ma communities along the border of Migori and Narok counties, Tembe in Migori County side, and Angata Barikoi in Narok County side. Mr. Speaker, sir, in the statement, the committee should, 1, explain measures put in place by the government to bolster security in Guitembe and Angata Barikoi areas along the border of Migori and Narok counties, which have been plagued by persistent ethnic clashes between the Kuria and Ma communities. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, the statement, the committee should inform the Senate of actions taken by the government to establish and address Kuria and Ma communities clashes and the root causes of the clashes. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the statement, the committee should state plans by the government to compensate families that have lost relatives and property as a result of the clashes as part of its support for peace building efforts in the region. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Rico.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this statement is on the rising rape cases, Magadi area, Kajiado West sub-county. I arise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding rising rape cases in Magadi area, Kajiado West sub-county, Kajiado County, attributed to a suspect going by the name Lorgali. The statement, the committee should establish, should establish the correct identity of the suspect, including his full name and place of origin. 2, explain the steps the government has taken to ensure the suspect behind the rape cases is apprehended and arraigned in court to face charges. 3, they should state the number of reported cases of rape and defilement in Magadi area from June 2024 to date, and outline the measures in place to support the victims in coping with the trauma. 4, and outline the preventive measures the government has implemented to curb further cases of rape and defilement in the region. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Aminda Kibo.
Mr. Speaker, 2 statements on health matters. The first statement is on the mental health and work conditions of medical interns. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the tragic death of suicide of Francis Njuki, medical intern at Thika Level 5 Hospital, November 2020. Mr. Speaker, sir, the incident came just 2 months after the death of Dr. Desiree Mora, who until her death by suicide was a medical intern at Gatundu Level 5 Hospital in Kiambu County. This highlights the urgent need to address rising mental health concerns and toxic work conditions faced by medical interns in Kenya. The deaths of these young medical professionals are not only individual tragedies, but also a stark reminder of systematic issues within our healthcare system. It is imperative that the Senate take swift action to ensure that the safety, well-being, and dignity of all those who dedicate their lives to serving our nation's health. In the statement, the committee should investigate the working conditions and schedules of medical interns at public hospitals, especially addressing claims of excessive working hours and poor working environment. Number 2, examine the existing mental health support programs available for medical professionals, particularly interns, and recommend enhancements to those programs to prevent such tragic outcomes. Number 3, assess the role of hospital administration and the Ministry of Health in safeguarding the welfare of medical interns, including measures taken to address the grievances and provide mental. Number 4, provide a detailed report to the policies governing the deployment, supervision, and work-life balance of medical interns and propose reforms where necessary. And the last but not the least, recommend actionable steps to create a safe and supportive working environment for all medical professionals, with a particular focus on addressing mental health challenges within the sector. My second statement, Mr. Speaker, is concerning the agreements for supply and lease of medical equipment to county public health facilities. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health regarding the viability of agreements entered into by the Ministry of Health and county governments under the National Equipment Support Program, NESP, for supply and lease of medical equipment to county public health facilities. In the statement, the committee should disclose the names and credentials of suppliers contracted by the Ministry of Health under the National Equipment Support Program to supply and lease medical equipment to county public health facilities, explaining how the said suppliers were selected. Number 2, provide a detailed schedule of payments made by each county government under NESP in the 2024-2025 financial year, highlighting any deductions made directly from the county government's equitably share of revenue raised nationally. Number 3, explain the role of respective county governments and the Council of Governors in the negotiation and execution of agreements under NESP, outlining the steps taken to ensure strict compliance with public procurement laws. Number 4, state measures put in place to ensure that supplied medical equipment meet the required standards and are appropriately utilized once delivered to the health facilities. And number 5, outline measures put in place to ensure that the agreements for supply and lease of medical equipment are financially sustainable for county governments in the long term. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I rise to make a statement pursuant to Standing Order 57-1, day the 25th of February 2025. Mr. Speaker, the legislative business pending before the Senate is as follows: 53 bills, of which 41 are at the second reading and 12 are at the committee. 19 motions are pending conclusion. 24 petitions are pending conclusion, out of which 17 are due voting by the respective standing committee. 463 statements pursuant to Standing Order number 53-1 are pending. As listed in today's order paper, Mrs. Orders number 10, 11, and 12. There are 3 bills awaiting division at the second stage. I therefore request party whips mobilize the prerequisite number of county delegations for the voting undertaken. I also request honorable senators remain in the chamber for the same purpose. Speaker, 25th of February, Tuesday, 2025, Senate Business Committee will meet to consider the business. Tentative business for that day will include business not concluded in today's order paper, as well as business dated notice paper. Tentative business, the morning sitting on Wednesday, 26th February 2025, will include the schedule of questions to cabinet secretaries as approved by the Senate Business Committee, as well as motions. Speaker, the scheduled questions in question number 5, the Cabinet Secretary for Health by Senator Hamida Mana. Question number 14, the Cabinet Secretary for Health by Senator Rango. Question number 5 again, Cabinet Secretary for Health by Senator Catherine Ma, MP. Question number 8, Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, Senator Eddie Cage. And question 9, the Cabinet Secretary for Water and Sanitation, Irrigation by Senator Daniel Maanzo, EBS. The tentative business afternoon sitting on Wednesday, 26 February 2005, will include business not included from order paper the 25th February 2024, and also the A. Bills at the second reading, namely the County Statistics Bill, Senate Bills number 5 of 2024, the Statutory Instruments Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 10 of 2024, the County Wards Table Development Bill, Senate Bills number 20 of 2024, Public Finance Management Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 7 of 2024, and the County Government's State Officers Removal from Office Procedure Bill, Senate Bills number 34, 2024, the Creative Economy Support Bill, Senate Bills number 30, 2024, the Livestock Protection and Sustainability Bill, Senate Bills number 32, 2024, the County Government's Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 39, 2024, the County Library Services Bill, Senate Bills number 40, 2024, and Mr. Speaker, the Labor, Migration and Management Bill, number 2, Bill, Senate Bills number. B, Mr. Speaker, will include bills at the Committee of the Whole, namely the Early Childhood Education Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 54, 2023, the County Public Finance Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 39, 2023, County Government Elections Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 2, 2024, County Assembly Services Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 34, 3, the Local Content Bill, Senate Bills number 50, 2023, the Land Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bills number 40, 2022, and Cooperative Societies Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 3, 2020. C, Mr. Speaker, will also include motions being 1, report of the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee, consideration audit reports, county hospitals, Nanjo year 2021-2022. 2, reports of the County Public Investments and Special Funds Committee on the consideration of the audit reports of the municipalities for financial years 2020, 2021, and 2021, 2020, and 2022, 2023. And 3, report of the County Public Accounts Committee, the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of the following county executive, namely, Goma, Embu, Baringo, Darua, Garissa, Laikipia, specifically financial year 2019-2020, and Kirinyaga, Kilifi, Kericho for the financial year 2020-2021. First one, Mr. Speaker, the report of the County Public Accounts Committee, the consideration of the reports of the Auditor General, financial statements following county executives, Basa, Kuru, Nyeri, Met, Kisi, Kana, Trans Nzoia, Darua, Robi, Kwale, and Kwale. And finally, report County Public Accounts Committee, the reports of the Auditor General, financial statements following county assemblies, Yakos, Kana, Kisi, Washin-Gishu, Kirinyaga, Nyeri, and Tana River. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the projected business for Thursday, 27th February 2025 will include business not concluded in the order paper for Wednesday, 26th February 2025, and any other business scheduled by the Senate Business Committee. Speaker, sir, I do thank you and hereby lay my statement on the table of this Senate now.
Honorable Senators, I can see some senators who are lined up for this. First one to this question, and then we come back to comments. Saboni Kalwale, Majority Whip, just a minute. For presence, before I put this question.
Order number 8, motion recording the thanks of the Senate on Kenya's attempt for the position of the chairperson of the African Union Commission, AUC. Assumption of debate, question to be put.
After I put the question, then we come back to state. Senators, this motion was concluded yesterday. I want to put calling that the African Union is to the Organization of African launched in 2002, the continental body consists of 5 member states that make up the countries and continent. Of creating an independent and peaceful by its own citizens was whether the African Union Commission established as the secretary responsible for the chairperson and government. According that on 27 February 2024, Kenya formally announced that the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, is vying for the chairperson, the African Union Commission, served as the African envoy for employment. Excellency, the President endorsed Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Kenya's candidate, chairperson of the African. We think that the Honorable Raila Odinga's candidate chairperson not only his personal ambition, but also a symbol of Kenya's commitment because of the African Union desire to participate in the continent's commending the government of Kenya led by His Excellency the President for a robust campaign support of the candidate caused by continental integration and guided by Kenya's foreign. Further commending the remarkable achievement by Right Honorable Raila Odinga, managing the run-up in the election of the chairperson of the African Union on Saturday, 15/5. Recognizing the need to sustain Kenya's growing prominence in the change and advocacy for a more united, self-reliant Africa. African, see the continent empowered to chart its own. Now, therefore, Senate 1 expresses its profound thanks to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, each unwavering commitment to the service of Africa by offering his candidature for chairperson of the African Union Mission for his leadership in advancing Pan-African unity, development and integration of the African continent, and for its attempt. Are you the one issuing? And number 2, Seconds is thanks to His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, CGH, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, NGH, Kenya's candidate, person of the African Union Committee, and for completing the campaign in support of his candidature. And 3, seconds is Congress Mahmoud Ali Yusuf as the chairperson of the commission on Saturday, 15 February 2020. As many as of our country, I serve it. So members, I can see Professor Tom Jambo agenda. Want to make a comment on this?
I rise to conflict along the border. Speaker, this is a statement. Touches as certain act on the life of a. In this case, Mr. Speaker, the Kuria in have been able to land, and they call the land of their because of sporadic conflicts and invasion. It is important, Mr. Speaker, that this is brought to the attention of the relevant committee, and I'm glad, Mr. Speaker, that this security committee that shall deal with it. This, Mr. Speaker, affected the lives of women. Mr. Speaker, I recall in December, Senator Eddie Okech had to take food in the area of Timbaru, leverage food shortages, and on the inability, Mr. Speaker, women and men farm their family. Yes, and it is sad, Mr. Speaker, that a community as small as the Kuria community and go through attacks. Tangata Barikoi in Narok County. You will be surprised, Mr. Speaker, that even when these communities try to farm, they are unable to, because the crop is either harvested, it is ripe, or destroyed, or cows simply. Mr. Speaker, conflicts, this is instructive because conflicts, for instance, in neighboring communities could be resolved. Where neighboring communities live, Mr. Speaker, and their conflicts, there must be a solution, because it is these conflicts that spread and eventually become bigger and people are unable to live in peace. Mr. Speaker, I pray that this statement is taken seriously, and I thank Senator Eddy for bringing this statement to the House so that we can investigate and call security apparatus within this region. And Mr. Speaker, where there is need, or where there may be need, may have, Mr. Speaker, as a security committee. I'm glad my colleague, Mr. Sifuna, sits in that committee. Someone, Mr. Speaker, the county officers in charge of security in that region to explain whether it is due to complacence on the part of officers that these clashes have continued on and that communities have continued to suffer, or if there's need, Mr. Speaker, to transfer officers or have a station in these places so that we do not have these conflicts continue. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir, I want to support on the issue of security. Senator Eddy should be comfortable. National Security Committee. Hope you will seize that. Even us or consult me and Senator Isan. Where we continue. Sumo in Nandi, Iga, and all Nandi and Kakamega. So we hear you, and we want to request the people of along Angata Baragoi, where Senator Ledama comes from, to continue to maintain peace. All of us are one Kenya, and I want to encourage the national security. Find time and go and engage the great people of Angata Baragoi and Narok County, and I hope the area Senator, because we want one united where peace thrives in everything. Mr. Speaker, secondly, I have seen and I saw in news that there is a rampant rapist in Kajiado County called by the name Nick Gary. Speaker, I am bringing amendment to sexual offences. That individual who perpetuates rape, castrated professionally. You should castrate. Why would we allow somebody to rape? They can procreate DNA that will give birth to rapists. So, Mr. Speaker, we should castrate. And some of us who are pastoralists, like myself, Ledama, and Senator Tobiko, we are experts in castration. We can assist how to castrate those individuals, because what is the solution? Under Sexual Offences Act, what is the solution? You see, these people are taken to court, they are given a bail and bond of 100,000 shillings, and they are being left, Mr. Speaker. The rape causes not only trauma to the individual, it's a lifetime mark, Mr. Speaker. And God forbid you get a child, Mr. Speaker. And this could be young children who are being raped. I am even surprised in this town, and Senator Sifuna should listen to this, that even I'm surprised even the mentally unstable women are pregnant. Who dares to rape a mentally unstable woman in this or across the country? That person is an animal. Because if they cannot request or who a woman or anyway a girl, Mr. Speaker, then that person is an animal. Because we have reason. You can sit with a girl, take her on a coffee date and convince her otherwise, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal, I'll be bringing number 2, Mr. Speaker, in my proposal.
Are you saying that animals do rape?
I'm not saying animals do rape, but I'm saying animalistic behavior. You know, when animals are on heat, they just do the needful, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to say much because you have visitors. Another proposal on Sexual Offences Act I want to propose is we must put trackers to these pedophiles and rapists, like the way they do it in Europe and America, Mr. Speaker. So that when a rapist and a pedophile person comes around, there is a signal.
Council wants to inform you, a senior.
Senior counsel today, the way he's smiling, I can agree.
I just wanted to inform the good Senator of Nandi. He's made a very good statement and not tolerate rapists. The Speaker, I want to consider advising our young girls to remain pure and not to tell them that they are a pro-word, then they have sex before. Encourage our young girls and not to give in to sex advances till find their spouses. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I agree with Senator Okongo Mugeni. He has spoken like an Adventist elder. And thinks about that is a good sermon for some. We have called them to be. Mr. Speaker, the second proposal is that we need to put trackers to these rapists, the way we have done with pedophiles in America and other countries, so that when they come around schools or come around, it should be tracked. There should be a signal, Mr. Speaker, so that we can prevent these rapist cases. And I want to challenge DCI, if these cases of abductions are happening and they know, it's hard to look for one person, one rapist that is causing havoc, that has raped 8 women in Kajiado. It's very unfortunate. What did DCI? And we give them money. DCI, must be called out and the police to ensure they track these rapists. We don't want our women and girls to live in fear when they are going to school or they are. Finally, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of doctors, I want to say, I brought a statement about the KNH the other day. Now we have this doctor who committed suicide. I think we need to agree. There was a CBA that the government signed with the doctors. We must implement that, a collective bargaining agreement. Let's give our doctors and nurses and medical practitioners their right, Mr. Speaker. The reason they are committing suicide is because of harsh working environment, Mr. Speaker, where there is no gloves, there is no protection gear, PPEs, Mr. Speaker, there is no good remuneration. I have seen my brother Kebore
the CEO of Kenya Union of Clinical Officers, they have called in strike in some counties. Even I saw my classmate in Kericho calling for strike of doctors because they have not been given fair treatment and fair remuneration, Mr. Speaker. You saw, Mr. Speaker, there was a doctor who worked more than 24 hours in KNH and he died in his sleep a few months ago, Mr. People like Dr. Desrin Mora have given all in their life. To be a doctor is not easy, Mr. Speaker, because they say God heals, but the doctor cures, Mr. Speaker. We need to stand with the professionals. Mr. Speaker, finally, I am proposing that the Senate and the Health Committee, and I hope the health members are here, let us form National Health Commission. Because there is crisis in medical sector. You go to Nandi, we have problems. You go to Nairobi, you go to National, Mr. Speaker. You go to Meru. Meru health system has collapsed. Why don't we form National Health Commission to handle human resources of medical practitioners in this country? From dentists, from gynecologists, Mr. Speaker, from psychologists, therapists, Mr. Speaker, all these medical practitioners, and give them a better package, Mr. Because with time, if we do not fairly remunerate our doctors, they are emigrating to other countries. We will never have professionals to treat our people. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we will be emigrating most of our people from here to India. Yet we are losing revenue. What is different that India is doing that we cannot do in Kenya and treat our people, including cancer patients? Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I support all this statement, and I thank you.
To contribute statement.
Yes,
Comment on.
proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support Senator Du. State of governance in his statement. He has made reference to the events during the presidential solo. And in the statement, Speaker, clearly see some governance issues related to the planning of that incidences that happen. Very good incidences happen in our president. Mr. Speaker, I want to comment on this because nearly 3 weeks ago, we had a similar incident in a county, Vihiga County, where the presidential visit happened at a place called Luanda. Market was being constructed. A day before the presidential visit, some people descended on market stalls, demolished them, never cared about the plight of the affected traders. The next day, the president came there to launch. Mr. Speaker, it was very nasty because there was too much heckling. They even heckled the governor of Vihiga County and other people, other members of parliament there. I think this is a matter that we need to take seriously because the office of the head of state is an office of honor. It's an office that must be respected. And therefore, when we have all this manner of heckling and disorder in a presidential event, then we are clearly making this office to lose the respect it has. And Mr. Speaker, I must dare to say that the security officers were well aware of what was going to happen. They never took any action. There was no protocol in that meeting. There was no protocol in that meeting. So I think this is a matter, the incoming committee of security, where my good friend Ojenda wants to be the chair, must seize this opportunity and investigate all these incidences, not just in Isiolo, even Vihiga County. We have never had a scenario where a president is an event where there is chaos, there is disorder, there is heckling. It never happened under Moi. It never happened under Kibaki. It never happened under Uhuru, but it's happening under William Ruto. It is because the question is why? The committee must investigate that. They must investigate that and tell us what is happening. In Vihiga County, stalls of poor traders were demolished and they have not been compensated to date. Just because the president is coming the next day to launch a market. They had all the time to plan. They should have planned better. A governor of Vihiga County ended up being heckled because the traders thought it is him who had demolished. But it was demolished by national officials who came a day before. Mr. Speaker, this disorder must stop, and therefore I support.
What is your point? Okay, you are finished.
Mr. Speaker, understanding 105 on accuracy of facts. As the senator also reported in the police about the demolition of the stalls, Mr. Speaker, this is not a marketplace where you just make sweeping statements. We must be held accountable in our statements as leaders. And to allege that the presidential function as synonymous with heckling is not our issue, Mr. Speaker. And it is sad coming from ODM Deputy Party Leader. It is out of order, Mr. Speaker, to come and peddle lies before the House, yet he knows he should go to the police and report.
You know, Viga is...
You can see they are even heckling now.
Viga County is
and you know, Eddie, you are heckling and we wanted to make you chair roads. Why are you heckling?
Senator Chalgay. Senator Chalgay. Viga County is ably represented by Senator So. And what he is saying must be factual. There's a lot of stories for Nandi. We don't even ask you about Nandi. So let's go to the next Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, as a member of the Security Committee, a new member of the Security Committee, I don't think you need any sessions with the Security Committee to know why the president is being heckled across the country. That is my position. But I wanted to make comments on the statement by Senator Eddy. One of the things that I am very proud of, Honorable Speaker, as you know, that I'm SG of ODM. And in that capacity, we do have proper networks across the country to give us information. I was sitting in my office and a young MCA called Engineer Tyson Kemege came to my office at KICC. He's a specially nominated MCA by the ODM party. Many people will tell you, try and convince you, Honorable Speaker, that ODM has no presence in Kuri. That MCA is nominated by ODM party. We have very strong support there. Honorable Speaker, if we can get our act right internally, sure that we can get 1 or 2 constituencies there in Kuri under ODM. And Honorable Speaker, I was quite surprised that it is very easy for us sitting here in Nairobi to not even be aware that there are communities living in conflict for a very long period of time. I was actually very surprised that this dispute at the border between Narok and Migori has been going on for years. Honorable Speaker, when he came to my office, I took the liberty. Luckily for me, the senator for Migori is elected under my political party, ODM. The governor of Migori, the same. Even the women rep, although she is not elected on ODM, she is ODM adjacent. That's the term we use. And I spoke to these leaders to try and understand how is it that a conflict can run for so long under the radar, that people have lost lives. And Honorable Speaker, even as recently as a few weeks ago, there's a young man who was shot by security officers because of this about the use of land that has historically been used by the people of Kuria to farm. Honorable Speaker, it was quite surprising for me. And I remember assuring the Honorable Kemege that I would speak to the leadership there. I spoke to Governor Chiloyako. I spoke to the Senator Eddy. He had promised to bring a petition, but I am happy that after we spoke with Eddy, he has found a faster route that will not enlabor the people of Kuria there because they have a senator here who actually takes his work very seriously, Honorable Speaker. These people, because of the conflict down there, we were informed by Senator Eddy that in fact they have not been able to farm on their land for almost 3 seasons now. And it is quite surprising that a conflict can just fly under the radar when lives are being lost for such a long period of time. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I am very happy that the Senator has brought this matter here. I saw the effort you put in, Honorable Eddie Okech, over the holidays in December, try and assuage the situation there, because a community that has not farmed for 3 seasons was literally at the mercy of starvation. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that it may take time for us to sort out our security matters, but I am happy that there is progress. Just this afternoon, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution announced that 13 police officers and 1 officer from the NIS had actually been arraigned before a Kiambu court, charged with the abduction and murder of 2 Indian nationals and 1 Kenyan in July of 2022. And these people, or these officers, are suspected to have been members of the DCI that were part of the now disbanded SSU. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I want to encourage Kenyans, and especially the good police officers within the security forces, that it doesn't matter who puts you up to commit a crime. Those people will not be in power for long, and the arc of justice will get to you at some point. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, I want to also support the statement that has been brought by Senator Pace Tobiko on the instances of rape in Magadi, in Kajiado County. Honorable Speaker, Magadi is a place that is very close to my heart. I have spent many months in Magadi itself, because I have an uncle who used to work for the plant there before it was sold. Honorable Speaker, what is surprising, and this is something that is a universal scourge, these issues are not unique to Kajiado. I was sitting with a team of firefighters from Nairobi today, Honorable Speaker. Believe it, was a complaint raised by one of the female firefighters that because of the nature of the dire situation in which the department is, there is no security at our fire stations. Honorable Speaker, we are supposed to have police officers manning these fire stations at night, armed police officers, but they are not there. So you can imagine, Honorable Speaker, you go to places like the Ruaraka fire station, there is no even gate. And you are a lady manning the control room, supposed to receive fire incident reports and to dispatch firefighters, and you're sitting there. So there is an allegation at one of the fire stations, Honorable Speaker, that one of our female firefighters was raped by a colleague, and that there are attempts within the leadership of the Nairobi County government to ensure that that perpetrator is protected. Honorable Speaker, you can imagine the sort of mess that we are in at our fire departments here in Nairobi. So in addition to the statement by Senator Tobiko, I will personally be also presenting that same statement to the committee. And the good thing is that I'm now in that committee. There will be no cover-up of that heinous crime here in Nairobi. Whoever it is that called the OCS in that particular case to drop those charges, Honorable Speaker, we must do what we must do to make sure that there is justice for both the victims in Nairobi and the victims in Kajiado. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I want to give an issue with the Senator Mtata, and I've that the link he gave yesterday, the URL link is cannot confirm whether it is the actual. So Senator Mtata next confirm whether this is actually now the secretary can it actually. Another substantiation of facts that are alleged to now Senator Honorable Senators, as you may recall, at the afternoon sitting of the on yesterday, when 2025, elected Senator Karungo Dhangwa MP to utterances because of his of thanks of the attempt, chairperson of the African Union. Election goes out as of order by the Senator for Vic County, Sosi MP. Point of honor by Senator Gonfurios. The Karungo Dhangwa MP was required to support. It was the prayers of Kenyans, content Right Honorable Raila to come back and either against the government and they continue rooting, or he speaks. Honorable Senators, standing on 105 provides that 1, a senator shall be responsible for the facts that to substantiate such facts. 2, if a senator has sufficient, senator is unable to instantly require that such senator to which the meaning 1, the Karungo Dhangwa MP was not able to statement as required pursuant to standing under 105(1) and subsequently requested the Speaker to provide evidence at the next sitting day in accordance with standing under 105(2). Having accident request, I directed that the Senator sheets the allegations at the next sitting day. Honorable Senators, pursuant to standing under 105(2), I now invite Senator Karungo Dhangwa MP forthwith hit the claim as this point of honor by Senator Gonfurios MP, failure to which the Senator shall be deemed to be contrary in the meaning of standing under 121. The absence of such substantiation, the Senator will want to withdraw and apologize. Senator Karungo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, after deliberations and understanding my role as a senator is oversight and representation, I understand that is what we call a fair comment, Speaker. And when I say that, I might have been, because I don't want to attract Senator Osotsi again to stand and ask for more clarity. When I said, you know, I'm a Kikuyu and I come from Mount Kenya, and sometimes when you talk about, when you're speaking English, you replace L's and R's. So I meant rooting, which means mandamano. Mr. Speaker, he comes, I meant he will come and do what he does best. I said rooting, which is taking the route, taking any route to demonstrate in the streets of our capital, Mr. Speaker. So maybe if I was misunderstood and maybe he had, I used an L, I meant rooting. Thank you.
This is statement according to the answer and dates. Means the government. Means the government. I don't know whether you mean the government and Laila have been rooting on Mandamano. I'm not sure whether that is that, but I will ask Senator Osotsi.
Senator Osotsi. maybe I just want you to understand, even when ODM is in broad-based government, they will continue making noise. You see them. We have given them chairmanship, and they're still making noise against the government. So what I'm trying to say, even if you do whatever you want to do, Mr. Speaker, they will continue demonstrating.
Time to substantiate and then.
So I meant just that, Mr. Speaker. Even if they're in government, and I'm supporting that because if you listen to Senator Sifuna today, even you listen to him yesterday, he looks uncompromisable, Mr. Speaker. Even if he is promised his people will be given chairman. Look at Senator Eddy. Senator Eddy is going to be given chairman. He's the vice chairman. And he's still asking questions to this government.
Takarongo, you have not substantiated your claim, unfortunately.
Mr. Speaker, I say he will join the government.
I'm not convinced as the chair. I've done that.
Yeah.
Yes, Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, when somebody is called to substantiate,
You're a senator, not somebody.
Yes, when a senator is called to substantiate, they must provide something to back their claims. You cannot take us down a rabbit hole trying us to teach us English and literature. And Honorable Speaker, even me, who's not a Njurincheke elder like yourself, Honorable Speaker, can tell when somebody is being clever. You are a person who has the capacity to tell when a senator is being clever. Honorable Speaker, I want you to rule the Senator for Kiambu out of order. And in fact, he's added insult to injury by the claims that he has made here, casting aspersions against members of my party, ODM, which is not something we will allow, Honorable Speaker.
Okay, Senator.
We will not allow it. So, Honorable Speaker, please, if he has been unable to substantiate, let the law take its course. I know the Senator for Kiambu has been very busy out there in fact, we are wasting his time with him sitting here. I'm sure there is a rally somewhere in Lari, and I know how to use L and R. A rally in Lari is waiting for the Senator for Kiambu. Release him to go.
So, Senator Karongo, you know, like, a substantiation made a difference. That was that because yours cannot be found anywhere in a newspaper or in a book that I'm going to refer. So instead of opening so many fronts here, then why don't you just, if you are misunderstood, you just apologize, then we move on. And we withdraw from the answer because I think that's gentleman enough.
Yeah, actually, Mr. Speaker, that's what I did. Just try to say that I was misunderstood. I used an L instead of an R. And since they did not get it, Mr. Speaker, and I want to, being friends with Senator Sifu, I like what he's doing nowadays, I withdraw and apologize, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. Let's now go back to statements. Just to give comments. Okay. Now let's go to Joe Newton.
No, I am not going to finish. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to comment on the statement of Senator Hamid on the mental health medical interns. And this is a matter that concerns all of us, Mr. Speaker. What's happening is seen it during the many industrial actions taken by the medics, where we have been able to. Most of these medical interns are given long hours to serve, even as their seniors, the doctors, sometimes do 1 or 2 hours, and then, of course, go to their private practice. And this is something that could be leading to a lot of mental pressure and stress, leading even sometimes, Mr. Speaker, to suicide cases. Mr. Speaker, I think once the Committee on Health then undertakes the job that it is going to do while looking at this particular matter, Mr. Speaker, I think even the remuneration of these medical interns should be looked into. The hours that they put in, Mr. Speaker, and the committee then should be able to give recommendations as requested by Senator Hamida. Because, Mr. Speaker, it takes 7 years, I think 6 years to train a medical doctor at the university, Mr. Speaker, while the other degree courses take 4 years. Mr. Speaker, these are people who put in a lot of time, academic time. They are people that the government and the various hospitals need to recognize by paying well, Mr. Speaker. These are a group of people, again, those that are admitted to take medicine are the top cream in every academic year, Mr. Speaker. And these are not people then that we should pay peanuts and give them, long hours of service. Mr. Speaker, this is a matter that this House should take very seriously because, again, these are the people that we entrust our health to. If they are going to offer their services to us, because, of course, anybody can get ill, Mr. Speaker, if they will offer their services to us while under stress, while not comfortable with where they live, what they eat, and the kind of lifestyle that they lead, Mr. Speaker, then everybody, every Kenyan that is seeking medical services from these interns, who basically are the ones that you're going to find in every hospital any hour, will also be at risk, Mr. Speaker. And so, when we speak for these medical interns, Mr. Speaker, we are speaking also for our interests, ourselves, our families, and indeed every other Kenyan, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, while at it, we may want the health committee, the Senate Committee on Health, Mr. Speaker, we're looking at this matter to also look at the training of these particular, of medical students, Mr. Speaker, because everyone knows that previously we had, or universities across the country used to admit a very small number of medical interns or of medical students, which has changed over time. So probably the committee should also concern itself with the fact, wanting to see what universities are doing with the increased numbers of students that are taking medical courses, Mr. Speaker. And so it is something that the Committee on Health should look into broadly and, Mr. Speaker, give a very comprehensive statement on it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I want to give maybe one more Senator. Have a very frightened.
Speaker, I rise to one. About find that last month 7 women have been raped in something which you should. And to make matters worse, yesterday one of the rapists who was arrested by the was actually released on bail. As it is now upon us in Parliament, to try and figure out how we are going to. May need to look at the law. Know that everyone has a right to bail in murder cases. But I think now, Senator, Senior Counsellor Ojenda and Senior Counsellor Mogeni, we need to start thinking about how to address it. Because in other countries, people are even held without trial. This thing is something which is affecting our own children, affecting our own mothers. It is imperative that we do. This is something which is scaring our women of the Maasai community. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to comment on the statement brought by my very good friend, Eddie Okech. Eddie Okech and I have been working together, trying to make sure that there is peace between Narok. And we've done a lot of work, and I want to commend him for bringing this statement about the tension and the conflict. If I could request you give me another 1 or 2 minutes. The conflict between the Kuria and the Maasai. This is as a result of our styles of living. If you look at the Kuria people are settled in agriculture. The Maasais were nomadic. We have had historical issues to do with the land, the boundary between Kilgoris and the Kuria and Migori County. So this is not just an issue that can be resolved by the security. I heard Senator Jenda making comments and say the security go there and resolve the matter. This is a matter that needs us to look at the boundary and to see which land belongs to the Kuria, which land belongs to the Maasais of Kilgoris. Because I would not sit here and expect that the security committee will go into that area and force away my people. You know, our people have been crying. The whole border of Kilgoris constituency, going all the way to Migori, you know, has got serious issues, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the Syria community, on the Kuria side, and the other side of the Wasingishu community, the Luo side, it's a problem. So I think it's about time that we deal with these issues. There's been a lot of cattle raiding back and forth. The Kuria raiding our people raiding the Kuria. This is something which has been going on historically. And also, sometimes it happens because of our lifestyle. So I think it's a matter that we cannot strictly limit to 3 issues raised by my colleague. How many people have been compensated? It's not only about compensation. Because if you compensate this one today, what about tomorrow? It is about making sure that the boundary is very clear. The land that belongs to the Maasai remains the land that belongs to the Maasai. The land that belongs to the Kuria, it remains the land that belongs to the Kuria. Mr. Speaker, one other fact that is not even out here is that along that border, there is land which is no man's land, which now there is a camp, and I'm sure there is somebody very senior in this country who Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for adding
Just 1 minute, kindly, you know, as I...
Let me summarize and put it this way. We have a lot of challenges in that area. There's no man's land. Land which is around maybe 3,000 acres along the Kuria-Narok border. And that one of the things that I am very happy with Senator Eddie, because we've done a lot of work together in the community. And now we're making it known that when the security committee goes there, when it is not only going to say compensate, what are you compensating people for? Solve the problem once and for all, so that the Kuria people can farm in their part of the land, the Maasai people can graze in the part of their land, and we solve this problem once and for all. And that no man's land, we need to be able to know which part belongs to Kenya, which part belongs to Tanzania. It's that simple. It's a boundary dispute. We've had the same boundary issues between the Wasingishu and the Syria Maasais. No, and that one, they just fight over a small section. That, so far, has been resolved, my knowledge. But the part which has not been resolved is the Kuria-Maasai dispute. So we cannot trivialize these matters, or we cannot say, let's just compensate them. Let's go there, solve the problem once and for all. Put a boundary. And then once we do that, we also revisit these land laws. Mr. Speaker, right now, my people, the Maasais, are selling their land at 20,000. And then the people who are buying it are selling it again at 150 or 1 million shillings an acre. That is causing problems, because once those people have sold that land and they have no land, they go back where there is a dispute and they cause problems. So we need to deal with issues, to change the laws, we zone laws, such that an area, you cannot sell any land, you can only lease. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Seki.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I also want to comment on the statement quoted by Senator Peris Rubiko. Honorable Speaker, Kajiado people are in a very bad situation now. It's a worried county. We have a very serious, dangerous person who is moving from one sub-county to another in the county. Honorable Speaker, this person by the name of Lorgali has really terrorized our people. And I'm worried, Honorable Speaker, because we have security operators, systems of this government. And I think this is the right person, need to be abducted by these government's systems, not to abduct the innocent children, young men of this country who have not done anything. This is the right person to be abducted. They should now use their own system to make sure that they have abducted Lorgali, who is raping elderly women in our county. And I think if they don't, we will definitely, Honorable Speaker, give our people authority maybe to find him. And probably they will not be there. He will be found dead. So I don't think we need to give government a chance to continue giving people who are violating the law to terrorize our citizen of Kajiado. I'm told just yesterday, one of the girls in Kajiado town, near Kajiado town, that man is there now. And I don't know what his security personnel are doing. So I think, Honorable Speaker, this is a very serious thing. And now we are worried of the health of those who have been.
21 minutes to conclude the matter touching on Kajiado County.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And I don't know what is the health now, the health of our people who have been terrorized, who have been affected by this man. The health situation. And I believe the counseling process will be started by the county and the Ministry of Health. And again, Honorable Speaker, we don't know the kind of system that we're going to put to make sure that such kind of problems will not happen again. Otherwise, thank you very much. I don't have much to say because of time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. First, I want to comment on this idea of people who pose danger to society, who are presented before court, charged and released on bail. Mr. Speaker, our Constitution is very clear, Article 9, Subarticle H, that everybody who is charged before any court of law is entitled to be released on bond or bail unless there are compelling reasons. Mr. Speaker, if you have a serial rapist roaming Kajiado County, that should be a compelling reason for any judicial officer not to release that person on bail. So we want to appeal to our judicial officers to also take into account public interest. Mr. Speaker, anybody can do the kind of heinous rape crimes I witnessed in Baringo, where you are raping an 8-year-old. That's a danger to society, and that person should not be entitled to be released on bail or on bond. So I want to appeal to our judicial officers. We know the judiciary is independent. We cannot direct them on what to do, but they should apply Article 49H in a manner that does not pose danger to our women. We want our women to walk freely. You look at our honorable senators here, beautifully dressed. We don't want them to be at risk of being raped by serial rapists out there, Mr. Speaker. So the judiciary, as a duty, it owes us a duty as Kenyans to ensure that people who pose danger to society have their cases heard while they are in custody. If we don't do that, Mr. Speaker, would be failing the country. If you give me 2 minutes, this issue of health. Yeah, you know, Mr. Speaker, this is a matter. You know what is before us this afternoon, Mr. Speaker? Should move us to even adjourn and solely discuss this issue of our doctors committing suicide. Mr. Speaker, how can we witness in 1 year 2 intern doctors have committed suicide? Mr. Speaker, even in my own class, law class, I never saw a case where 2 of my colleagues are committing suicide within 1 year. One is Mora from Kisii, another one is in Njuki. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, our interns have not been paid their arrears of 206,000 for the month of August, September, October, November, December. How do they survive? How do these young professionals survive, Mr. Speaker? As we speak today, there is a tussle between the ministry and the county governments whether we should pay our interns 206,000 or 70 shillings. Surely, if you pay an intern 70,000, you take share, take housing levy, you take away pay as you earn, you take away NITA, Mr. Speaker, how will these guys survive? They'll be left with no choice other than to continue committing suicide. Health is a devolved function. If the suicide cases we are seeing from our own children, because it's our children, cannot move us to do something, even to summon the CS Health to appear before us, then what is the role of the Senate of the Republic? Well, Mr. Speaker. Also, if you are an intern, you are seeing patients appearing, coming for treatment in a hospital, and you can't treat them. That in itself can trigger you to commit suicide, Mr. Speaker. Because we are told that the transition from NHIF to SHA, chief, is 46%. So where are these 54% of Kenyans getting their health services from? Mr. Speaker, we are being told, Mr. Speaker, that a patient will come to a hospital, they want to log in their SHA cards, but you are told the system cannot accept you. Or when the system accepts you, your relatives who are supposed to be beneficiaries are not in the system. I want to appeal to us, Mr. Speaker. Let's take an opportunity of this statement to convert ourselves to a committee of the whole House, and we deal with this issue around the frustrations of our interns and the functionality of this thing we call shisha. You can inform me. I accept.
Yes, inform me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to inform the distinguished senator from Mira County that the Health Committee has taken cognizance. And today, following our elections of chair and vice chair, we prioritize looking at county governments' budgets on healthcare. Also looking at this issue of the medical equipment schemes, also looking at the issues of doctors. I'd like to encourage the distinguished senator keep an eye that the day when we have this meeting, when we have summoned several individuals to appear then support matter instead of now converting the whole House into this. Because the Health Committee is alive to this matter. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
That's a good initiative, and I hope Senator Ledama is a member of that committee. Please address this issue of only 62%. Over 62% of Kenyans are reporting difficulties that SHA chief portal. Yeah, portal. We should not leave National Assembly, Mr. Speaker, to run away with an issue that is devolved. If there is a function that we should be seized of as senators, look for solution, discuss passionately, then it's health. Because health is one of the most important functions that the Constitution of 2020 devolved to our counties. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the reports we are getting is that most of our private hospitals are not accepting the share cards in many of our hospitals, Mr. Speaker. And we know it, Mr. Speaker. And me, I'm speaking for the lowly of the lowly Kenyan, the person who paid 300 shillings to access share card. Mr. Speaker, if private hospitals cannot accept this for Kenyans, where will they get treatment, Mr. Speaker? If you visit our counties, you're from Meru, from our cousins from the mountain. I am from Nyamira. I know the state of our public hospitals, Mr. Speaker. If we restrict the share card public hospitals, we are denying access to health services to our people. We need a solution. And I'm speaking passionately because I know the suffering that the people of Nyamira are going through. SHA should be able to assist any Kenyan who is seeking treatment in a private religious health facilities. Most of most competent health facilities are run by our religious bodies. If you go to Bomet, Tenwek Hospital, treats people from Nyamira because it's run in a very competent manner, Mr. Speaker. If we leave Kenyans at the mercy of our public hospitals, Mr. Speaker, we are leaving Kenyans to die while we are watching. We will never be forgiven by Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I will only take 2 minutes because of the flight to Mombasa. First of all, let me thank Senator Hamida for the statement she brought in regards to medical interns. In fact, the problem is not only with medical interns, it is with all health workers in our hospitals, health centers, and dispensaries. Honorable Speaker, I went to the Semis Hospital in Marsabit County, January. When I went to that hospital, there was a nurse working on a patient, and she didn't have gloves. She was wearing plastic paper to treat a young boy who was very, very ill. And Honorable Speaker, that boy needed some infusions, and the pipe that is supposed to help that young boy was not available in that hospital. It has to be shipped or transported all the way from Meru. It has to come the following day. That is the situation our health workers are working under. Having said that, let me also say the issues in our hospitals are not only on interns and medical health workers. Today we have a problem in Marsabit. We lost three people yesterday, 3 lives. There is a disease called Kalaza, carried by mosquitoes, and 25 people are now under medication. The kits for testing Kalaza is not available in Marsabit County. And I want the government to note that the people of Marsabit are suffering, dying in numbers. So I want, first of all, to thank the KEMRI Director General. I spoke to him this morning, and he has already dispatched his team to Marsabit. And I want also the Ministry of Health, the Minister, to take note Yes, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want to take less than a minute. I want to take note, I want CS Health take note that there are people in Marsabit dying as we speak. He must dispatch his team to Marsabit and a place called Logologo, specifically Harare, in Shur, Jaldesa, and also Laisamis. Our people are suffering. I would also want to ask even the President to please take note that the people of Marsabit are going to be having a lot of issues on the Kalaza issue. And having said that, let me thank again Senator Hamida for the statement. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Esther
Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. First, I wish to commend you for always being considerate, especially to members, allocating time to comment. For that, I'm grateful. Several instances I've spoken in this house, courtesy of you. Secondly,
Hey, that's malicious.
that's not malicious. That's not malicious because you have greatly contributed to giving young people platform to showcasing what they can offer. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, on the issue of the statement by Senator Hamida, we have so many young people who are frustrated out here, and not just the medical interns. I think we as leaders need a conversation around it so that we don't lose or continue losing young people to such. Secondly, on the rape aspect, not just for Kajiado County, we have rape cases reported countrywide, but I think serious action has not been taken also. I also feel we should not send people to report to police, because the moment you're sending them to report to police, most times at those stations, the officers there are very reluctant to actually take action, or sometimes they are compromised because the perpetrators are well known or they are people of means. So it actually becomes a challenge. I think Mwananchi should take radical action themselves. As much as that might sound extreme, maybe that will sound as a wake-up call so that we have that conversation in this country. Lastly, the statement by Senator Eddy on the border clashes. The clashes have been happening in very many parts of the country. You see Chepilat area, you see Keroka, Nyamira. Most of those clashes, when you look at them, it's a dispute, land, or theft of cattle. Maybe I like the proposal by Senator Ledama of actually taking the initiative to sit down with Senator Eddy and other leaders, and we should borrow this to other areas we are having these border conflicts, like Kisumu, Keroka area, so that we solve these issues internally, other than let them escalate and affect very innocent people who otherwise shouldn't have been part of the crisis. Thank you.
John Medu, so known as Git.
Such a good name to introduce me with, Honorable Speaker, and I want to indulge you at most humility. Allow me to comment. That I know it's under 52, and that's why I'm asking for kind indulgence, just as you indulge. I'll spend my 2 minutes very, very effectively. And because I have not gotten an opportunity, I also want to join my colleagues in the Cheptum. I served with, and he saw rest in eternity. Honorable Speaker, I also would not want to discuss as to the reason why there has been heckling across the country on meetings that have been attended by the President. Honorable Speaker, common knowledge that people express their displeasure in different ways. But I am more concerned, even as we look at this matter, as to why anybody would round up people after a meeting and you want to arrest people and take them to court because they heckled you or because they expressed displeasure when you attended a meeting, Honorable Speaker. How would the police actually identify the people who attended that particular meeting? If indeed these are people who are known, why can't they be stopped before the meeting, Honorable Speaker? And Honorable Speaker, I want to say this. I have seen that part of the reporting of the motion that we had yesterday here about Kenya's attempt to clinch the AUC position, Honorable Speaker, senators were actually condemning Kenyans who celebrated that particular loss, Honorable Speaker. I would want to say this. It is my opinion that Kenyans never celebrated because Raila Odinga lost. A section of the Kenyans who celebrated, they actually celebrated because they actually feel and they believe that William Ruto lost that particular election because it is William Ruto who was the person who was fronting Raila Odinga, Honorable Speaker. It is our responsibility, Honorable Speaker, to be very, very happy when William Ruto is sad.
A comment on a statement now is not benefit.
It's a comment on this statement, Honorable Speaker. I'm not going outside.
Yeah, because you are now taking advantage of.
No, I'm not going. I know that one may hurt you, Honorable Speaker, but allow me.
It's not hurting me, but I'm just.
It will of course hurt you, but I will restrain myself to the content of this particular motion, this particular statement. I will not go to discussing as to whether William Ruto lost, but I would want to say, Honorable Speaker, I can be informed. Want to inform me? No, Speaker, if you allow her, I can be informed.
I'm just observing you. Want to inform you?
Yeah, because I think it's really unprofessional or pretense for Senator Methu to say that the candidate we had in AU, was His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. Surely, if we look at the ballot, we didn't see any name of His Excellency Dr. William. So you cannot come and lie Kenyans. Yeah, you can't come and lie Kenyans that Dr. William was the one who was the candidate of AU.
So
even His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga said very well. He's the one who said he wanted that position. What Dr. William did was only to assist and campaign for him. So differentiate the two issues. Don't lie Kenyans that you think they are not well educated. They are well informed and they read newspapers and they see things.
So, Senator Methu, conclude on the statement.
Yeah. Honorable Speaker, that's why you need to actually be inducting your members. That would not be, maybe that would be a point of order. And if that is being exuded by the Deputy Leader of Majority, so that we are in very deep troubles, Honorable Speaker. My comment on this would be, Honorable Speaker, I was not expounding on the issues on AUC. I was saying that you cannot control how people behave or how people take you or how people feel when you are attending a meeting and when you are having a rally in their area. It is your responsibility to speak to them. It is their responsibility to feel whatever they want to feel. If they feel happy about you, it's okay. If they heckle you, it's okay. It's not every time because people don't believe in whatever you're saying that you want them to clap for you. They cannot clap for you every time because over time they will know that you are lying to them. And over time they will express that anger. So let people tell the truth.
You are right. Also, there is somewhere else, even people younger-saying other people. So people express in different way. I agree with you. Tabitha Karanja. Oh, yeah, let me conclude. Then you lead the statement. 22 minutes.
Speaker, I rise to comment. I wish I could comment about my own statement, but I can't. Of the House. I want to thank Senator Edama. I want to thank Senator Kuna, Senator Okenyu, and all the senators who contributed to that statement. It's a very important statement that has led to a lot of loss of lives in Kuria and side. Mr. Speaker, very quickly, let me comment about the statement by Senator Kibwana. Mr. Speaker, I want to plead with this, that we need to do a serious inquiry the state of affairs in our medical facilities, where our medical interns are. Because, Mr. Speaker, for somebody to become a medical intern, it means that they are really, really committed to become a doctor. That is what it means, because the work that is involved for somebody to go through the rigorous studies, the simulations in different studies institutions, and become a medical intern, they're actually very committed to become a medical doctor. But the problem that we have, Mr. Speaker, other than the ones that are known, because the ones that are known are usually three. The issue of delayed payments that we have talked about, and many people have talked about here, I don't want to belabor. The issue of lack of proper allowances, given the work that they do. Some of them do a long night problems, that they keep on solving, and the issue of poor working environment. Other than this, Mr. Speaker, because I have been very close to a number of medical interns in this country, Mr. Speaker, the corruption that is in our medical field is extremely big. Do you know, Mr. Speaker, that 90% of medical interns in this country perform procedures without supervision? And if they call a consultant to come and take care of them during those supervisions, the way they are treated by those consultants, because those consultants don't want to leave their private practice. Mr. Speaker, this issue of private practice in this country is something that must be dealt with. Because the issue of burnout that medical interns end up experiencing is predominantly because of that element of private practice that doctors don't want to give and consultants don't want to give medical interns the support that they need. And they end up having serious burnout, they end up being mistreated, and in some cases, they end up being very under-equipped to the extent that they are exposed to risks that then leads to these kind of frustrations. Mr. Speaker, despite the fact that we've seen that only 2 medical interns have died out of suicidal means, Mr. Speaker, other mental disorders that are coming in this country, Mr. Speaker, are untold. I want to urge this House, on the basis of what Senator Amida has brought to this House, can we, as a House, bring a serious motion and form a special committee to be able to actually do a proper investigation on the status of medical interns when they join work up to when they leave? Who are they assigned to? Who are their supervisors? Who is assisting them? And how are they treated in those places of work? Because this is very important. Otherwise, we are getting serious.
Thank you, Senator. So I will allow you to read out your statement.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations regarding mysterious murders and disappearance of residents of Nakuru County. In the statement, the committee should explain the circumstances leading to the unfortunate murder on 18th January 2025 of the renowned political activist by the name Richard Raymond alias Moro President, which occurred a few meters from a Bagon police station in Molo, and state any efforts put in place to bring the perpetrators to book. Appraise the Senate on the mysterious disappearance of Brian Odhiambo from police custody on 18th January 2025 and whose whereabouts remain unknown to date, highlighting any efforts to establish his whereabouts. Explain the circumstances leading to the disappearance from the mortuary in Nakuru Teaching and Referral Hospital of the body of 7-month-old baby, Mercy Chepngeno, and state any measures in place to trace it, and outline any strategies by the Ministry of Interior and National Administration to improve the security situation in Molo and Bagon as well as Nakuru town and in its environs following those tragic incidences.
Under number 9, is not allowed. Also to that, and orders from under number 13 all the way to 20. That will be end of. Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the under paper, Senate stands adjourned until 5 at 2:30 p.m.